Hey everyone, me Kevin here. This video is a message to subscribers. We are going to talk about this YouTube channel, my jet, my startup, and the future. I'm also going to provide some lessons and mistakes and things that I've learned to do better over time in this video. Now, it is late on Black Friday at the time of filming this. I've been going deep on Monster here, mostly because I checked the email again, and I haven't seen this many emails in a long time. We get a lot of bundle requests, so I got a little bit of work to do. So we'll keep the Black Friday sale open until we get through all these emails. That's at meetkevin.com. What a lot of people are doing, by the way, is they're asking for access to the HouseHack lectures we have already. You could email us for that. Shadowing less, but that's there. Most people are going for the gold course because it comes with the course member live streams as well. It's only $375 for Black Friday. Hashtag deflation. And existing course members are upgrading to platinum. A lot of that is happening and a lot of that is manual. Anyway, let's talk. So the first thing that we've got to do is we've got to talk about El Jetto. That jet is actually right here. This jet is a Phenom 300E. Don't forget the E. Somebody just listed one on Controller that's 1 year newer than mine for like $13.2 million. I paid 12.8 for mine. And a lot of people have been asking and leaving comments and emailing the most important questions that people send, which are who pays for the plane, who are the pilots, and what are you going to do with the plane, and what's the point of it? Okay, so why don't we start with that? And then what I'll also do is I'll pull up some of the costs that we've had for the plane. I think these will be pretty useful. I have an October statement handy for you that will show you some year-to-date figures, which I think are pretty useful. So I'll just make sure there are no sensitive names on it or whatever, and we'll pull that up. Okay, so first things first. I own the plane, I bought the plane, I pay for the plane. And when I say I mean me, Kevin, pays for all of this. Not a single dollar of HouseHack or ETF or whatever money has gone into this bird. Not a single dollar. And I will keep doing that for as long as possible because that's what I've been saying from day one. This plane allows me to operate a YouTube channel where, honestly, we got to talk about that. And these other businesses. So let me quickly tangent in the YouTube channel, and then I want to show you some of the expenses here. I'll tell you the YouTube a little bit on the YouTube channel regarding this while I black this out. One of the mistakes that I've made over the last probably 2 years, since about January of 2022, is I went from, in 2021, posting about 6 videos a day to posting about 4.8 videos a day in 2022 to posting about 1.8 videos a day in 2023. And so I've sort of self-fulfilled this YouTube slowdown, and I think that was a mistake. Now, in hindsight, I should have done my best to make sure I keep posting enough content, and I don't think I did as well as I should have in prioritizing that. Because I do believe for the future of my startups, what we do on YouTube is actually very useful for the startups. The easier it is for me to communicate with my audience of whether it's agents or investors or whatever, the easier it is for us to do deals in HouseHack. For example, the first property we ever bought came to us from a course member. They're like, Kevin, this is a good deal. Check it out. It just hit the market 30 minutes ago. You game. Boom. We got the deal. If you want to send us deals, by the way, send us deals. Like, send them to kevin@househack.com. Like, we're game. My dream, by the way, is, and this is, I think, the entrepreneurial curse, is you see somebody doing something and you're like, I can do that better. That is why pretty much I feel like I've done anything in my life. It's like, wow, those people are real estate agents? I could do better than that, right? Like, and obviously that there's like some like arrogance to that of like, oh, I can do better. So you have to be careful with that. Like, I'm not going to fly this plane. We have pilots to fly this plane because I don't want to kill myself because you make mistakes if you think you can do everything yourself. I know I can't do everything myself. But I do think it's very interesting, you know, having started in real estate, I'm like, I can do better. Property management, I can do better. You know, working at Jamba Juice, I can do better. I look at Open Door now, or even how some people make YouTube videos. I'm like, I can do better. Open Door, I know I could do better. Now, obviously, I can't guarantee that, right? You know, I don't want anybody to be concerned about, you know, me making promises or whatever. But this is just solely my goal. My goal is to kick Open Door's butt. And I think by changing the model to the HouseHack model, we will completely dominate them and actually make what they're trying to do functional for communities and people and tenants and long-term owners and investors and employees, everything. You know, we get compliments from where HouseHack is working now. We're on our 9th property now. My goal by May is to get to property probably 50 and get them all rented out. That's the goal. Every single deal right now is probably averaging out to about $125,000 wedge. Some of them are a little smaller because they're more expensive. Some of them are less expensive to fix up. You know, whatever. Probably average purchase price is like $600K or whatever, $100K wedge on that. And it's also a really tough time to rent things out right around Thanksgiving. Fortunately, you know, most of our stuff is still in construction or in escrow, but everybody knows November, December is a terrible time to rent properties out, which, duh, but it also makes it a great time to buy properties because nobody wants to move. But anyway, yeah, regarding the plane, the whole purpose of the plane was to make sure that we could operate all of these other businesses and make sure that I would be able to be in this studio to film and provide value, because that is what I do really well. So I've realized that over the past, you know, year and a half, I've let down a lot of people in that I haven't been consistent in doing course member live streams. In hindsight, that was a mistake. I should have been consistent with the course member live streams. Or sorry, not the course member live streams. I've always been consistent with the course member live streams. Well, 99%. With the market open and close live streams. Let me very much clarify that. I've been consistent with course member live streams, 99% consistent, since 2017 with the course member live streams. Very, very consistent. The market open and the market close, I am not very consistent with. But I've changed that. About 10 days ago, maybe 5-ish days ago or so, I'm back every day, 5:25 a.m., different channel though, Meet Kevin Live. I'm putting it all over there. Because if I go live and then I post a video on the main channel, they compete with each other. It doesn't make sense. I'm segmenting the audiences. It's totally different content too, so it's perfect. But that was a mistake, stopping doing the regular open and close live streams. And I want to make sure I do those as much as possible now. So I want to be here as much as possible during the week, and then take the plane in, you know, afternoons or weekends and do the other work that I have to do. A lot of work I could do from right here, but then when I need to go see a bunch of properties, I could go fly and handle that when I need to. Good deals, I pick up and go. Weekend properties, whatever. I could see everything basically on the weekend. So the plane is very expensive, but it gives me the ability to run 2 different companies. And so for me, the plane is worth every penny. First of all, I got the plane for free for 2 years. I think people forget that. When you buy a plane, you get 100% tax deduction, which, you know, I paid $12.8 million for it. So I wrote off $12.8 million, which is awesome because you save all that money in taxes, which was like $6 million or whatever. So I'm like, thank you. Thank you, government, for basically giving me 2.5 years of operating expenses for this plane. It's closer to 2.5 years, which is great. Here are the expenses that I've put into the plane so far this year. Keep in mind that there is a loan on the plane, which is also a tax deduction, but I've probably put 11 months in, about $800K in on the loan, which means right now on this plane, I'm in about $2.1 million so far for the year, but the year's basically over. And that's to be expected. That's pretty normal. I budgeted 2.4 per year is what I budgeted. So we're roughly in line with that. You could see this plane's operated by a management company. So I just, you know, throw in money every month and then they take care of it, you know, all these different things that go on, which is great. And they charge me for that. See, aviation management, $7,000 a month. Aircraft maintenance, $46,000 for the period of time. It's about $4,000 a month. Contract pilots, $168,000 in contract pilots. Then you also have payroll pilots. We have 2 payroll pilots. I pay for those. They're on, right here. I pay for them. $184,000. You've got, ramp parking. This is for the odd time we overnight or when we stay at our hangar, I believe. And then over here we have payroll expenses. Those are going to be like workers' comp, health insurance, benefits, days off. Look at this. You've got hourly fees for the engines. I paid $114,000 towards the engines. Because it's $1 million. Well, probably, maybe it might even be more. Yeah, engines are probably $600,000 a piece. And they need to be, very well maintained. Fuel, $311,000 in fuel. Hangar rentals, insurance expenses. Oh, this is probably our home base hangar rental right here. Anyway, so as you could see, a plane is expensive, but it creates a utility. And I personally am of the mindset, and this I think is just this entrepreneurial curse. I'm of this mindset that I need to keep progressing. And I found that there's a difference between being productive and then that product, and then making progress, I guess would be the way to put it. So think about that. A difference between productivity and progress. I think that's actually a lesson. So let me give you an example. I could go out and be really, really productive and go shovel snow. And I could be 100% productive. I did a great job at shoveling snow. That's great. I feel good. Look, it's beautiful. I can walk. I can park my car, whatever. But even if I'm 100% productive, am I really making progress? And so for me, I get a massive satisfaction out of making progress. The problem is when you're an entrepreneur, it's very difficult to always make progress. In fact, you will basically not always make progress. When I worked at Jamba Juice, I felt like my career was pretty much just like progress like this because, you learn, you work hard, you get trained, and then the district manager comes in and is like, oh, you're doing ABC really well. Now I want you to work on XYZ. And you're like, okay, cool, I'll do that now. And you try to progress. Entrepreneurship has this potential of basically being much steeper, but unfortunately it comes with this. And sometimes it could feel like you're like that, like you're really going under. I think that's part of the roller coaster that is entrepreneurship. I think that's why it's not for everybody. I have this belief that through life, we are walking this tightrope and there's a beginning pole and an end pole. And your goal is to try to raise the string level of happiness. So if you're constantly walking around stressed, your happiness is actually your base level of happiness is very low. You have too much on your mind. You feel overwhelmed. You feel like you have a lack of control. And it doesn't take much for when you get the ups and downs for you to just feel very, very terrible. And this is like the depression, the swamp of depression down here. And it's really, really a bad place to be. So the goal as an entrepreneur, or really anyone in life, is to try to raise your base level of happiness. So that way, when you have the swings, the ups and downs, you're not really getting into the swamp of hell over here. This is like where the haters live, or, toxic ideas and depression and self-defeat and self-doubt. And greed and cheating and fraud. Oh, this is where all the scammy scum is, right? And so everyone's goal in life should be trying to elevate that base level. And this is really how you create what Aristotle talked of, which is eudaimonia. I'll never be able to spell it. But eudaimonia, okay, I guess I'm going to guess it. Eudaimonia. Oh, yeah, it doesn't look right. That's basically the good life. And to live the good life you have to have everything in balance. Balance would be this tightrope, and sure, it could have fluctuations, but it should be balanced positively, right? Oh, I was close. Was I? Oh, no, I wasn't close at all. Never mind. Was not close at all. It is E-U-D-A. Oh, okay, I got that part right. That's an I-M-O-N-I-A. Oh, I was 2 letters off. There are no E's in eudaimonia. Okay. So, this is important because everyone should do their best to elevate. And sometimes we feel like we're shoveling snow, but it just keeps snowing. And then we get depressed and we're down here in the hole. And I felt that way before, even recently, where I felt like with YouTube, there was sort of a this. And, if this was the baseline pre-COVID and this was COVID, probably here. And this was pretty tough. This is where I thought, oh, okay, I'll try to have a restart to like mark a bottom, and I'll unlist older videos that aren't getting views, and I'll react to them. That was a horrible idea because people thought I was hiding something, which is really bad because I generally pride myself on being very transparent. So that was not very useful because it was almost kind of like I cut my tightrope, and then I ended up like down here. It was sort of like, oh, good job, Kevin. You got your bottom that you were looking for. So, I didn't know that at the time, but I thought, oh, I'll symbolize it by shaving my head or whatever. Yeah, all right. Mistakes were made. Again, there's no boss of Jamba Juice walking up to me going, oh, Kevin, just do it like this. I have to figure it all out myself. And obviously, when I make a decision, I think I'm doing what's best, and sometimes you don't know until you try and it doesn't work out. That's okay. That's the way it works sometimes. Now, there's good news in this because I feel like we can kind of make a little chart. Here, we'll insert a new page so this is clean. Let's go to a new page here, and let's make a little list here of things to talk about and successes and failures. So obviously and we've done this before, so I don't want to go too terribly deep on all successes and failures here. I just want to talk about more recent successes and failures that I've learned from. Obviously, I think making rash changes on YouTube is bad. And I think what works better and what I should have stuck with previously more so is we'll call it a mostly rigid schedule on YouTube. So that's like 5:25 a.m. course member live on YouTube, okay? Now we're gonna do 8 p.m. politics /game live. It could be one, it could be both. What I might do is I might do politics and then just game and chat, right? So that way it's segmented. It's like, here's the politics, here's the chatting maybe. We do Reddit reactions or whatever, and then chat, and then game. So there's some kind of rigid plan that people can get used to. I think this is very useful, is having a schedule, and I've never been much of a schedule person. Now we do our course member live streams, which this is not course member live. This is stock market open live. And then this is the course member live, which I've been consistent with, mostly like 99% consistent with since, 2017 or so. Yeah. By the way, really popular right now is the gold course. It's, $375. It drops Monday. It's a really good crash course on everything I know about productivity, real estate investing, sales investing. Just email me at staff@meetkevin.com. I'm buried deep with emails right now. I have not seen this many emails of people wanting to upgrade to HouseHack or shadowing or course members are going from 2 or 3 courses all the way to the platinum level, or people are getting into the gold just to see what it's going to be like. All those lectures drop on Monday, so I'll be working over the weekend to get those done. But so a schedule is very useful. But also, I want to say something that's been useful for me as an entrepreneur is I find that I have to keep advancing. When I'm advancing, I feel really good. that brings me substantial happiness. Like advancing makes me feel like those poles on the line of happiness are going up. So advancing would be, I'll give you an example. Advancing would be going from Jamba to Red Robin, getting promoted at Red Robin, getting a raise, going from agent to broker, becoming an MLO, becoming a licensed contractor, looking at something like, for example, we just did this Regulation A fundraise for HouseHack where we used this company as our funding portal. And let's just say there's some things that could be done better, in my opinion. And hopefully that's not an exercise in hubris. Hopefully that's the entrepreneurial spirit, right? And so part of me is like, how can we have our own funding portal so this is easier in the future? Oh, well, in order to have a funding portal, you need to be SEC registered as a funding portal, and you must be a broker-dealer. Well, a broker-dealer requires a Series 7, a Series 24 general principal, which is like a supervisor. Somebody has to be the Series 27 FinOp. Then to be state-based, you need a 63, 65 for registered investment advisors. SIE is a given. You need a compliance officer, which is a 14. So I just decided to sign up for all of those tests over the last few months. And I have one to go, and then I'm done. So I'm like, I'll do all of them. It's not because I want to do all of the jobs. It's because I want to make sure we can get the ball moving. And then that way, as other people get their licenses in these subjects, I also know how to supervise them, which is important because I've got to run the company. Now, the cool thing is about this, and this is what I like about advancing, is I look at that as a boon for HouseHack. HouseHack is my real estate startup. My dream is to beat Open Door. That's not a guarantee. Obviously, we know that, but that's my dream. My dream is to beat a company like Open Door and then eventually beat Invitation Homes and some of these other companies, like become the vanguard of real estate, so to speak, minus the whole like ESG thing that I guess people don't like, but then again, I'm also not totally opposed to, I'm not like horribly opposed to solar. I think solar is highly useful and functional, and there'll probably become a time in the future where it makes sense to put solar panels on every rental property that exists. I don't think that time is now. Financially, it doesn't make sense right now for anybody to do it, in my opinion, on rental properties. But that time will come in the future. But anyway, for now, I see creating a funding portal and a broker-dealer as a tool for enabling me to do what I want with HouseHack. Which again, right now with HouseHack, we have 9 properties. We're mostly in construction with almost all of them. Tough time to rent properties out now, but that's okay. Like I said, we're mostly in construction. So we're getting a BD broker-dealer set up, funding portal set up, all to help with HouseHack with our mini funds goal. And then what we're going to do is hopefully be set with about 50 of these in May, and then we go to the next phase, which is the mini funds phase, which will be really, really exciting. But that also means we need a software dev to be involved in all of this. So there's a lot of work, and I sign up for a lot of this work for hiring folks and making sure that we can do it all because it's all part of advancement. It's advancing company goals. It's the entrepreneurial spirit. It's a lot of hard work, though. And I'll say the last 3 months have been really difficult for me because it's been balancing not just the HouseHack fundraise, which is one of the reasons we paused it. It was too stressful, combined with trying to get all of the licenses and hiring people and getting them in the right place. So we're like, let's pause. And A, we might never have to come back because we have enough funding. Or B, if we come back, then we come back, at some point in the future. That we could always open it up again. And it was also, pretty tough market. When we fundraised in October, that was like, the local bottom of the stock market, a lot of fear. So, and rates were like 5%. It was insane. So anyway, all of these things are a lot, but they give me a lot of satisfaction because we're making fantastic progress on all of these different levels. So, but yeah, I need to make sure that I'm also paying attention to feedback that people give me. And that's why I've been running a lot of polls, especially with course members, or even surveys on Twitter, and listening to a lot of feedback. But ultimately, while I listen to feedback, I make the decisions. That's the point of being a CEO. I can't change my mind every 2 minutes because one person doesn't like something. So I do my best to please the most amount of people. But that does create challenges, and that's hard. So, having kind of realized some of these things, oh yeah, rash changes on YouTube is bad. Also, less content is bad, right? That's why we've now created a separate, which I encourage you to subscribe to if you want that content, right? If you want the Meet Kevin podcast where I banter with 2 other guys, great. I'd really love to get a girl on the podcast too, so we can have some balance. And maybe Lauren could do it, but then again, she's also dealing with twins, and then some. So there's the Meet Kevin podcast, which we usually do during the week and post, trying to be consistent around 4 p.m. There's Meet Kevin Live, which is the market open, and I'd like to do close as well. Then there's the Meet Kevin Politics, and then of course just the regular channel. But the politics is probably going to turn into like a Meet Kevin chatting kind of channel, where it's just kind of like, hey, whatever we're talking about today is what we're talking about today. TBD. I'm still trying to evaluate that. So that way it could be gaming, it could be reacting to stuff on Reddit, whatever. And it's really just a great way to, sit down and make content or think about content with other people. It's kind of cool. That is subscribers who are watching and commenting. I find that actually productive, because then I start thinking about, I should make a video out of this or that or whatever. So less content is definitely a failure. I shouldn't put these or imply that these are under failures. They're brand new. So at the same time, I would argue that there's a failure of not exercising as much as I should. I usually like to run every day, and I think I need to make sure that I maintain those windows. It's been really difficult with this testing regimen that I've been going through, and so I've loaded myself up with too much in the near term. I've actually been really, really happy and satisfied in 22 and most of 2023, even though the market's been tough, because I've figured out that balance a little bit better. But I totally went out of balance here with all these tests I signed up for. But that's okay. It's a grind throughout the rest of the year. I should be done by December 16th. Knock on wood. But as with that, I've let exercising go away, and I think that's bad because it contributes to sadness, especially if you make mistakes. Not great. So now let's think about some other things that we've got to talk about. Plane, love the plane, need the plane. Plane's not going anywhere. It's very, very functional. It's very practical. Again, if I haven't been clear, I want to be very clear. I pay for every dime of this, and I will continue to do so for as long as possible. So the cool thing about the plane is we have a lot of people that need to be in a lot of different places, and so we're able to pretty affordably use it. The marginal cost of using that plane is very low. So here's why the plane is so awesome. Because the plane costs about $1.9 million a year for flying 0, then the plane actually only costs $2,000 an hour for 200 hours a year. That goes down to $1,500 an hour. These are millions right here. $1,500 an hour. Here, it's not writing. On the left, there we go. On the right, that's per hour. $1,500 an hour as the marginal difference, right? For 400 hours. So 600K divided by 400 is 1,500. You fly 600 hours, it's only costing you $1,100 an hour. Now, for a single person, that's a lot. But think about it. If you're able to fit 9 people in this, divided by 9, you're looking at $130 per head to fly them anywhere in an hour. For an hour, right? So it's like you go from LA to Utah. Okay, that's an hour and a half. So that's going to cost what? $195, $200? That's great. That's almost what it would cost commercial. Except now we can fly exactly when we need to, and we can get a lot done. We could take off at 7 a.m. and be somewhere at 8:30 functionally working. That's great. So anyway, there are a lot of practicalities to this. So this isn't going anywhere. I think this is actually a mission critical tool to HouseHack. And like I said, HouseHack has not paid a dime of this. So, and all of this is audited too, which is great. So it has to be very transparent. But anyway, so this is an update on the plan so far. So we covered the plan. We covered HouseHack, we covered YouTube, we covered entrepreneurship. What we haven't really covered is family. A lot of people have been asking how family's doing, how the babies are doing, and the babies are great. They were born on October 26th, so we're coming up on their 1 month birthday, which is weird because it kind of means they're basically 0 since they were born about 1 month premature. It's kind of like they should be born now. And now they actually look like babies. Like before they were like preemie, and it's like, oh man, you's tiny. you're still like an embryo. Obviously not. But now they're really looking like babies, and it's really cool. So they're wonderful, and I really hope to get through all this wild testing that we have going on. What's also cool is in the longer term future, because I did mention we would talk future as well. There are going to be some cool things that I can do. So first of all, I think the next phase is going to be the HouseHack mini fund world. The HouseHack mini funds, these will be really cool. This will be an opportunity for us to really compete with, in a much better way, the Cardones of the world, the Roofstock, the Open Doors, REITs, DSTs, whatever, right? Doesn't really matter. There we go. Throw that up on screen. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. So we're very excited about that and bringing a quality product. So that'll be really cool. The next thing that'll be really cool too is the whole broker-dealer setup will give us a lot of opportunities in just sort of the securities world. Mostly because it'll give us a lot of freedom in how we market because we'll be regulated. So it'd be like regulated marketing, but we've got that down. So we're very confident that we can work with regulators very well, and this is good. It's important. I mean, when you're a broker dealer, you're subject to audit, spot checks. FINRA and the SEC, they don't mess around. And anybody, quite frankly, who's afraid of the regulators, I usually say to them, I say thank you. The reason I say thank you is because it's a moat. People are like, oh, I don't want the regulation. I'm like, thank you. Less people, able to do what we're able to do. Just being regulated just means you have tools that other people don't. Legal tools, weapons. So that's kind of what the future looks like. I think probably more family time between like the 3 to 8 p.m. range is probably also going to get put in there. This would be like more family and exercise time. Although we do have the podcast. So we might have to adjust the podcast a little bit. Probably go, if we did the podcast around like 2, ooh, that might be juicy. Maybe 2 p.m. pod. That would give me around like 3 to 8 just to be like human during the week. Or if I needed to fly somewhere and, round trip something, we could do that in that time frame too. Like I could do like a 3 p.m. takeoff or 3:15 takeoff and then be back same day, even if I'm back a little later. Well, we'll play around with this. So some cool options here. More family, exercise time, the mini funds, the competition, the ETF world, very, very exciting. There are a lot of opportunities for improvement here. And what's really interesting is all of these things, they all allow us to advance HouseHack. That's the beauty, is all of this goes into HouseHack. Because think about this. If HouseHack is here in the middle, then what you have fueling HouseHack is you have Kevin's real estate experience. So all of the prior experience that I have with real estate and construction, renovations, tenants, whatever, that goes into it. HouseHack benefits from the plane. HouseHack benefits from YouTube. HouseHack's going to, we believe, benefit from the broker-dealer world. And who knows, maybe in the future, HouseHack would even benefit from the ETF world. So we think all of this creates this really cool laser beam, this highly focused laser that's just going forward in one direction. So it's almost like all of these other little supporting factors should really just be behind it, creating this tailwind behind what will be, I think, a fantastic company, and hopefully you'll be here to watch it grow. But this gives you a good, nice overview. See, if you draw it like that, it makes a little bit more visual sense, right? Throw YouTube on that side too. Anyway, you get the idea. So maybe this makes everything a little bit more transparent and aware for everybody. I think the only thing that we haven't touched on is sort of my belief on securities from an investing point of view. I think I've been very clear that I think rates are going to come down, and I want to be exposed to companies with pricing power that will benefit from lower rates. And so that's just how I'm positioned. But my belief is, you just keep trying and growing, because if you're not, then you're stagnating, and then you're failing by default, and that ain't me. So anyway, email us at staff@meetkevin.com. We've got a lot of emails, so it's going to be a minute before I get get to all of the emails. So give us a chance here to catch up to all the emails. We're going to keep doing our best as fast as we can, and really appreciate you. Hopefully this was a useful update for you. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.
Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is neither personalized financial advice nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purpose of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services which we may benefit from. I personally operate and actively manage the ETF and hold long positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuers other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker.